United States of America and Russia are discussing the prospects of a president-level summit. U.S. National Advisor Jake Sullivan and his Russian counterpart discussed bilateral issues of regional and global concern. Sullivan and Patrushev had a telephonic conversation and agreed to continue to stay in touch. U.S. President Joe Biden recently proposed a summit to his Russian counterpart Vladimir Putin in a bid to ease diplomatic relations with the country. Russia has neither formally accepted nor denied this request so far. However, they are open to this possibility. However, this comes in the aftermath of the United States calling for Russia to end its military buildup on the Ukrainian border. Last week, the United States announced sweeping sanctions against Moscow for a large-scale cyber attack. The call for a presidential summit comes a day after the US warned Russia of consequences if Kremlin critic Alexei Navalny dies in prison. Joining us on this broadcast is Nina Maria Potts, a WION correspondent who's joining us from Washington. Nina, there are a lot of issues as we speak between the United States and Russia. President Biden, a few days ago, in fact, when asked a question, agreed that he believed Vladimir Putin was a killer, and tensions have only escalated since that comment. Officials have been expelled, sanctions have been imposed as well. How likely is this summit now?
Well, you've touched on a key point, which is that President Biden appears to be dancing a very delicate dance with President Putin. I think one key question that President Biden's critics are asking is why on earth would President Biden be seeking out a bilateral summit with President Putin? You rightly said that back in March, we saw a distinct change in tone from the Biden administration. He bluntly called President Putin a killer. And certainly on April 13th, when the two leaders spoke on the phone for the second time, the readout that we got from the White House really demonstrated a hardening of positioning, especially on the Ukraine border, the military buildup that we're seeing there, and a number of other issues, including Russian hacking and election interference. But at the end of that very tough readout came an indication that President Biden was seeking this bilateral summit. President Putin, as you say, has not committed to participating in such a summit. We do know that he is planning to address President Biden's Global Climate Change Summit on Thursday and Friday of this week. However, no indication from the Kremlin that they are as eager for this avenue to pursue that the Biden administration seems to be sort of stepping towards, which is finding some areas of cooperation while slapping Russia down for some of its actions. In that statement of April 13th, there was no mention of Alexei Navalny, and I think a lot depends on his fate over the coming days.
So I guess the big question is, even if a presidential summit does happen, how likely is it that President Biden and Vladimir Putin will reach some sort of an understanding? Because there are plenty of issues on which Russia and US have clashed under Biden's administration. Like you mentioned, the Russian troop buildup near Ukraine and Crimea. We have the 2020 election meddling charge. We have charges of cyber attacks. So there are various issues between United States and Russia at the moment. Not to forget Alexei Navalny.
Yes, and the same could be said of China and Saudi Arabia and various other countries around the world, that the Biden administration has projected a difference in tone. But again, President Biden's critics are saying, what does it matter if there's been a change of tone if that is not then backed up with action? And seeking a forum for dialogue, you're right, leaves very few issues on the table that the two sides can agree on. And just as we've seen with China, one of those big areas of potential cooperation is climate change. But it is very difficult to see with the current sort of tension between Washington and Moscow how the two sides will converge in any meaningful way, which has left, as I say, Biden's critics slightly wondering what the strategy is here.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.